very high-end technical 1.5-mile track. There's that 77, Jim Coach. Is it Coach or Coach? How would you pronounce it? 77. Coach, yeah.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Oh,
no! Down, but a little too much for the 48 as Dylan McIvern gets out of shape and somehow recovers. That was a big moment, though, as we start our international GT coverage. Woo! That was big. Somebody's off, and it's the 458 challenge car, the Ferrari, in the grass, and he's going to be lucky to get out of it. Look at the wheel spin. He's just going to plow his way.
Roland Veet, and that stinks because he did a great job of missing Dylan McIvern there at the start. Probably had to really bunch up his brakes there, and then just if you're not on the dry line, it's going to be a slippery line around here.
That was wild.
And what I think happened is you'll notice Lime Rock is painted across the start-finish line, and I think Dylan McIvern got into that paint, hit the power, and it just slid out from him like it was on ice.
You know what? I think you've just nailed it. That's exactly what I think happened. We'll see, I'm sure, as we get some replays. But that was a really, well, exciting, but a little bit frightening too at the same time. But everybody now is clearly past the first lap and down that Sam Posey straight one more time, down towards our cameraman Hamish, doing a hell of a job. Now let's take a look at that again, because here we go. There's the Lime Rock. Oh no, it was before that, wasn't it? Yeah. I think he bolted it, didn't think about the wet.
Yeah.
A lot of power in that 48.
But Roland Veet did such a great job in that beautiful Ferrari, missing that, and then somehow getting it. I hope he didn't have any contact there, as we've got Ken Fengler joining us in the booth. Ken Fengler, the owner of International GT, the man that put all of this together, as we look at Reisman coming down the hill. Now, the Reismans have a lot of time here at Lime Rock. They own the Interlaken Inn, one of the sponsors. But that man there, he really put on a good show here with us. In 2019, the on-track insurance car of Steve Katz, and he, I think, would win the contest, and I think all of the people up there camping, of the furthest jump over the hill. More than any of the Trans Am cars, he's getting the most air this weekend. There's a jump up here where he's going. You're going to see it, but he can get all four wheels off track on a dry track here, and the campers just love it. They cheer, they hold up scorecards for how long the jump is. But Ken, we're back in your neighborhood at Lime Rock Park. How's it feel?
Yeah, back home. I spent the first 25 years of my life, and if anybody asks me if I missed a change of seasons living in Florida, I don't know if you've been here for this weekend's weather, but it's pretty evident. No, I don't. But we're glad to be back here at Lime Rock Park. My home track, and here, beautiful facility. Picturesque, scenic Northwestern Connecticut, and a good field of cars. And I think there's going to be some good competition throughout the day here with the International GT.
I don't know if you got a chance to see that start, but it was a big moment for the 48.
Yeah, no doubt. McIvern's car, the pole-sitting Camaro, it sounded like he was just hunting for a gear as he went to charge up, and everybody had a check up behind him, and that didn't help anything. But it helped Steve Katz get a run, because obviously the horsepower advantage, he's going to need it to catch up to Steve. And Steve's in a 3.6-liter Porsche, the smallest displacement GT3 Cup trophy car we have, and he's showing the guys in the 3.8 and 4 liters the way around Lime Rock Park.
Great battle here. Look at this. Steve Katz and Dylan McIvern for the lead, and McIvern going for it now.
That's really the only high horsepower passing area there, is that front straight. Other than that, he would have to follow Katz around. But now let's see if he can keep it down on the ground with the traction. And then the Reismans, Ken, I've been following International GT for quite a while, and the Reismans come out to kind of regional races, but it seems like every time they're on the podium with you, they're like, I don't know why we don't do this more often. When are we going to get them to do a full season with you?
Yeah, I don't know. The problem is they have a number of cars and run in a number of different organizations, but I think they enjoy every moment of running with International GT. A new car for that beautiful red Interlaken liveried car is new to the Reisman Hudson Historic stable, and Paul's driving that car. John is in Dad's old car, in the 3.8 liter, the silver car that you see on the screen. That's running, I think, in the top 3 or 4. And Paul's out there in the beautiful red Interlaken car. So they got father-son GT3 Cup cars now.
There's that beautiful Interlaken car. He's moved his way up through the field now into what looks like 5th place.
Yeah, well, he didn't qualify yesterday. He decided to take some leisure time at the Interlaken Inn, I think. He would have found him. And but John did qualify the car, his car, and hence started in 3rd position.
Now, who's in that Speed Racer looking car that
that is
right into the grass?
Well, you have to ask. It's part of the Reisman clan. Okay, that's the son-in-law, Justin Ehrlich. That is John Reisman's old car. They're keeping it in the family, and Will Wachs was really concerned, or let's say really entertained by the laps that Justin put down. He's a local guy, and he has good knowledge of this racetrack, and he really pushed Will to try and end qualifying. They were back and forth and actually out-qualified Will, but that miscue on the first lap there didn't help its chances in this race. But there's 2 more races to go, so plenty of opportunity to change things up as far as podium finish.
Yep, talking about Will Wachs right there in that green Gator Gang looking Porsche. He's a 2-time Stuttgart Cup champion, just passed there by Dave Ricci, who just has a little bit more power than Will, but Will's got him definitely in the handling department. But some beautiful cars out here with International GT.
17 minutes to go in our first feature race for the International GTs. Ken and Ben alongside me, Jonathan Green, and at the moment Dylan McIvern has recovered and has taken the lead just a lap ago or so, and now leads Steve Katz by, 2 seconds now as we look back at that beautiful Ford Mustang.
That's a Camaro.
Excuse me, the Camaro.
That Camaro, it looks like Smokey and the Bandit. It's going eastbound and down right there across Big
John
Bend.
Coke, yeah.
I think I'm hearing banjos as we're watching that.
Exactly. Now, who is this blue Porsche here? I haven't seen that, but it's a beautiful car.
Yeah, that's on the. He bounces along between the Speed Sport and RS3, out of Florida, and glad to have him as part of the series, and he's run very quietly, throughout the year, but it's great to have him, Albert Lukacic, all right, and he was at Sebring, and he's been at, with a race like this, he'll quietly move up the points ladder, no doubt. But Albert Lukacic, and doing a good job, and glad to see him here as part of at Lime Rock, being supported by a local crew, Speed Sport. Fantastic, doing a fantastic job, and good supporters of International GT. They've come on the past year, so we're very happy to have them.
John Coke right there in that Cobra Automotive Camaro. You don't hear that too often.
That sounds
he's
sacrilegious, isn't it?
A crew guy with Cobra Automotive was able to buy that, and he wants to thank John and Debbie Cloud. He has kind of a tire sponsorship with them. He takes their old tires and comes out here and races them. But he's just having a blast. Cobra Automotive is one of our favorite vintage racing prep shops. They do a lot of Shelby's, but they also do Chuck Bentley's Camaro, and it looks like John's as well. And right out of here from Waterford, Connecticut, so this is his home. I think he can go home every night and sleep in his bed and come out here and race in the morning. And he's just learning this car out here with International GT. And now this Maranello Cup red Ferrari had tough luck there at turn 1.
Yeah.
Do you expect him to work his way back up through the field?
Yeah, and you see it's it's not easy. You see, Jeffrey, Steve Katz having a hard time getting by the 3.8 liters, really working him over. Jeffrey in a 3.8 liter car, Steve Katz in a 3.6, and Steve's really, I'm sure, chomping at the bit, because obviously the overall win is looking very tough as the Camaro pulls away. So he just got by him there, and Roland's going to try the same move, but Jeffrey is running probably towards the back of the 3.8 liter class, and they're having a tough time. Nobody said it was going to be easy.
Yeah.
Well, Jeffrey Freeman currently in 10th position, 1:16.
So there we are. There's our leader, Dylan McIvern, in that blue Mustang, SVRA blue, number 48. That was his father's Randam winning championship car, I believe.
Yeah, Dylan has the advantage of having that ultimate horsepower. You saw Steve Katz struggling to get by the larger displacement Porsche, but there's not that much difference. When you get down the straightaway, there's no substitute for horsepower, and you see that going on right now as they're coming up on Paul Reisman in the Porsche. But Dylan has the advantage of really being able to muscle the car down the straightaway to get by these Porsche guys.
Yeah, and Dylan is also a very experienced driver.
No doubt. Nothing to take away from him as far as driving.
One of the most talented drivers that we have here this weekend. And then he's got his dad, who was a great driver in his own right with the Grand Am Series and Trans Am and IMSA. So it's running in the family here.
Yeah, no doubt.
As we mentioned,
but look at that car. I think that was my favorite International GT car here this weekend, that Interlaken Inn. That's a beautiful livery on this car.
Yeah, we're very happy to have them as the presenting sponsor of International GT. Kevin over at, I met with him a month ago and said, hey, we're coming back. And when I got with John and Paul, the Reismans, they were so enthusiastic about supporting International GT and being the presenting sponsor here of our group, International GT, here at Lime Rock Park.
So if you ever come to Lime Rock Park for the races, Interlaken Inn should be your first look for where to stay. It is a beautiful facility and resort real close to the track. And as you can see, this is a beautiful area of Connecticut. So even if you're not coming to a race, it'd be a great place to stay on a fantastic vacation, because these little villages up here are just so pretty.
Yeah, it's like walking back into the 50s here. When we came in this morning, it was all misty, and I could see the houses coming out of the trees.
It was like you were home, wasn't it? I was going to say. Did you bring this weather here?
Yeah.
Thanks.
For extra added, insurance, I made sure it was perfectly British for us.
Yeah.
Just under 12 minutes to go, and Dylan McIvern leads by not a country mile, but he's got a good gap now to those chasing him. Steve Katz is one of those men. John Reisman in third place, and then Ted Giovannis in fourth.
We went from the longest track guys at Road America to come here, over 4 miles to a mile and a half. And I have to say, our sprint races were about 8 or 9 laps at Road America. We're at 20 or better here, and it's almost like mini enduros here. When you're running 1 minute laps, when I told the guys, they probably said, "Oh, that's all we got." And about now, they're saying, "Are they going to throw the checkered flag at some point?" Because they're having to continue to work their way. And as we can see, with 1 minute laps, it's not only staying ahead, but it's working through the lap traffic, and it brings really more the element almost of the enduro into this 30-minute sprint race versus a flat-out sprint where you may catch the back markers, but probably not. So it's totally different element here at Lime Rock Park.
No way to relax. There's no real straight. This is it, the Sam Posey straight. But even that is, as soon as you've just taken your breath, you're back into Big Ben and back through the gearbox.
Yeah, although it's a small field, we've been 35 to 40 cars at every race this year. Thankfully, I don't have 35 to 40 cars on this racetrack. I would like to see, our goal would be 18 to 20, but, for the fans and for the spectators and for the crews and for the drivers, there's action everywhere around the racetrack. That's what's nice about this facility.
Yeah.
You're not waiting with a long lapse of time in between cars in action. Everywhere you look, every corner, there's cars, there's passengers overtaking and strategy being played out.
It's beautiful. And the thing that I love is we've had what I would consider to be terrible weather since we've been here. But there is a hill full of campers, of just extreme sports car enthusiasts up on that hill. I'm sure there would be even more if we had beautiful sunny days, but it's just so encouraging to see these fans. And I think Lime Rock Park has the most enthusiastic, the fanatical fans that we go to all season long.
Well, I concur because, and not only Lime Rock Park, but this particular weekend.
Yeah.
The first race I ever went to was I was a freshman in college, about 45 minutes away from here, and I always had aspired to go racing, but once I got here and saw it, and it was during an IMSA weekend. Peter Gregg was here, and all the big names.
The Ferrari's off again.
And certainly, Memorial Day weekend is the classic weekend. I can't emphasize enough what this weekend means to Lime Rock Park.
Yeah, I've seen it on a sunny day here, and there's hundreds of thousands of people. And I think the weather has obviously deterred a few people, but like you say, it's tradition that people camp here and stay here for 3 days. And we just saw the Ferrari go off for the second time. He went off on the first lap and has now gone running down. I think just out-braked himself going into the Big Bend.
Yeah, but pulled off in a safe area. He should be able to get that car around if he can, as we watch John Reisman and Ted Giovannis fight for third and fourth place. And Ted Giovannis, it's kind of fun to see. He's using this a little bit of a strategy because he's also an IMSA competitor. So he comes to the races with you to kind of be able to test his cars out for his IMSA racing. Is that correct?
That is correct, with one element. Ted was not coming to this race as of last Friday, but once the Enduro was added and he's on a championship hunt, once he found they loaded up the truck and came from Atlanta, once he found that the third race was on, he said, we need to gain championship points.
Watch this. What happens here, Ken?
There's Roland. I'm not quite sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I think his thinking was, I'll outbrake the no, I won't outbrake the Camaro. No. Yes, I think that was.
I think
I'll just drive down here.
Whatever he did there was the better. He would have hit the side of the Camaro. So he made the great decision there to just kind of.
That was the Lime Rock long course. Okay, which honestly, that was the part of the original course. The flood and back in the 50s when they first built it, a year or so after, took out part of the racetrack, and they didn't have the money and the whereabouts to rebuild it back, so they shortened it, and that's it. So that's he took the long course, so to speak.
That's Dylan McIvern racing his father's old Grand Am car. Lots of fun, but he's also going to be out there in the TA2 race in 2019. He got a second place, barely. He was really fighting for the lead for the last probably 25 laps, but like we said, this is a really difficult track for passing. And one of the closest races we've had here in TA2 and Trans Am was with Dylan McIvern and Thomas Merrill here in 19. And now he's out there getting a little bit of an advantage over Merrill because he's got more track time and seeing the changing conditions. As we look at Dave Ricci in that Smokey and the Bandit livery Camaro with Breathless Racing from South Florida.
Fifth at the moment is David, chasing down Ted Giovannis in the Porsche. And John Reisman in third at the moment. Steve Katz and Dylan McIvern continue at the front. Just over 6 minutes to go in our International GT first race of the day. And they've got 3 in all, right, including the Gingero?
Yep, and we'll be back for that. And then at 11:30, 60-minute race with a 5-minute stop. Strategies will come into play, and a lot of luck as to if a yellow comes out at the right opportunity. And, I think the track will be in good shape by then. It's drying out. Oh, well, Paul going for a little bit of a ride.
Yeah, so that gives Ted
that's
Giovannis.
John
Reisman.
John Reisman.
So that should put Ted Giovannis in third place overall. Ted Giovannis is our Mission Foods Trophy winner last season, correct?
Yes, he was champion at the last race, got it, and then as I said, it was a hard-fought championship, as many of these championships are, but he won it on the last race, and he is the defending champion, and as I said, the reason he's here is because he decided to, make a run for the championship and felt he had to be here to gain some valuable points.
Yeah, and there's William Watts, who seems to he joined kind of halfway through a season, I think in 19, won the Stuttgart Cup, and then it's rare to not see him with International GT. Now here's the replay. Ted makes the pass, and it looks like didn't quite get on the brakes well enough, but he did a good job to hold it and not spin there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was close, to say the least.
So the clock ticking down now with these wonderful drone shots here. Less than 5 minutes to go as McIvern continues to lead in the 48. Steve Katz will keep him honest in second place, and we continue to take a good long look at this beautifully prepared all red and black Interlaken.
It's funny, we're already at 20 laps into this race, and most of the time, most of the tracks that we go to, that would be considered an enduro.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I'm sure, and a lot of times we get some drivers talking about track time, and I bet you right now, each time they come around, they're like, where is that checkered flag?
Yeah, no doubt.
And they've got 4 minutes to go according to our timing and scoring, so they can do 4 or 5 more laps now in this time.
You wouldn't miss that William Wax car, would you, in that beautiful green and sort of spiderweb colours?
Yeah, that's the Gator Gang racing, so I can't tell if it's a tortoise shell or an alligator.
I think it's got to be the alligator, but it looks more like a tortoise.
Yeah.
Either way, it's pretty groovy.
COVID hit Lime Rock Park pretty hard, and they basically closed down for about 14 months. But the time that they were closed, they really made a lot of improvements. We've got a new ownership group as we look at John Coke coming in. unfortunate. Looks like his car, looks like they're looking at the tire. He's got another tire down. He cut a tire yesterday or Saturday in the qualifying. And so that's unfortunate for him. But they've really put a lot of work into this autocross track that's up at the top of the hill that I think is going to get a lot of miles on it. And they've really made a lot of improvements to Lime Rock Park. We love coming here. There's that speed racer car I was talking about.
Yeah, that's Justin Ehrlich. There's John Reisman and his brother-in-law. Yeah, interesting story, and I'm sure it was discussed at the Thanksgiving table that year, but ask John or Justin about their warm-up lap at Road Atlanta one year, okay? That's all I'll say, all right? But it was interesting to say there was a lot of blame to go around of what happened on the, actually was the pace lap, yes, of a race at Atlanta.
Doesn't sound like they made the start.
No, they didn't, no. But as I said, I think the Thanksgiving dinner, there was lots of conversation.
Well, with only 2 minutes left, we'll see if he can get past him. So that is a Cayman in the Stuttgart Cup, that number 5 speed racer. And Reisman is in a Mission Foods GT Cup trophy car. Should be able to get by him maybe on that back straight, no name straight. He's being careful about it.
Yeah, and Justin's making the car very wide. Yeah, I say, that's my brother-in-law. I don't need to let him by.
Exactly. Bragging rights for that Thanksgiving table.
Yeah.
Now, when the sun is out, that chrome car wrap can be blinding. It's quite an advantage because you get the sun to reflect into the other driver's eyes. But there is no sun to be found today as we look at William Wachs coming down that beautiful Sam Posey straight.
Just over a minute to go then in our International GT Race 1. And so far, a few off-track excursions as we look at Steve Katz currently on the on-track insurance car in second place. And there's your leader, Dylan McIvern, who will be in action as we've heard in GT2. But despite a bit of a slip slide of a start, he pulled it all together within the first 3 laps and then put himself back into contention and back at the front.
Dylan McIvern's family, they own a few Toyota and Ford dealerships in the New England, New Hampshire, Vermont area. So he's out there showing us what a Mustang can do, and it's quite impressive.
Conditions actually perfect now. We've got a real dry line. And,
yeah, times are reflecting that. You're seeing 53s, 54s, no doubt. Yeah, no doubt.
And right now, Dylan McIvern with that 53 would have qualified about 5th place in our Trans Am race on Saturday.
Still doing overtakes on the back markers is our leader as he comes onto the front straight, and we'll see the checkered flag now and take it, and it's a win for Dylan McIvern, his first of the day. Can he do the same in T82? Great run by him, and Steve Katz will take second place in the GT3 3.6 iteration, the white, black and red Porsche GT3 Cup car, and Ted Giovannis taking third place.
I'm looking over at Ken now. He's about to go down and do the podium celebration. So he's writing down all the results, seeing who he needs to talk to. But it seemed like a pretty clean race. There were some things that happened, but seemed to be kind of single car things.
Yeah, thankfully, yeah, especially when conditions were a bit dodgy in the opening laps. You know, it cleared up, and you know, the first race of the deal, we've sat around. You know, you had a day off in between. Conditions haven't been ideal, a bit antsy, but the guys settled in. You know, they got in groove, and you know, you can tell by the lap times, you know, things were coming back to them. So it's a good warm-up race, you know, to get on with that, and also for the afternoon race at around 3 o'clock. So we look forward to that.
Well, my thanks to Ken Spengler and also to Ben Sissel being here once again to enjoy our international GT coverage. They'll be back, I'm sure, later in the day to pick up where we left off with these guys. But a great run by Dylan McIvern, the local man in that Ford Mustang, taking victory. And conditions now absolutely perfect here at Lime Rock. Check on the results then, just to confirm. Dylan McAvern with the Ford Mustang takes the win over Steve Katz. And Giovanni Plum taking third. John Reisman and Paul Reisman sandwiched between them is Dave Ricci in fifth in the Chevrolet Camaro. And then Jeffrey Freeman seventh. And Lukazik and McAleer in eighth. William Wax ninth. And Justin Ehrlich, the brother-in-law of the Reismans, in 10th position in that Cayman S.